Hello and welcome to the program, Agriculture on the Move. I am Philip Sidney, your host. Wow, Nuella Vivi. Christmas is here again. And of course, Compelidi, c'est tradition Noël. We need our fresh meats, our pork, our beef. We need to have that to consume on Christmas morning. However, we need to prepare. We need to know that the meats that we consume is wholesome. How can we know it's wholesome? We need to do the prerequisites, the activities needed to ensure that the farmer, the butchers slaughter the right animal. So there's what you call the ante-mortem activities. And with me is Mr. Columbus Philippi, who is the livestock officer in the Ministry of Agriculture. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Sidney. Thank you, St. Lucia.
Yes, man.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Definitely, definitely. But why Columbus is back? We're here again.
Time flies.
We need to tell the people exactly, what they're consuming, because I know people like the fresh meats for Christmas. I don't think they're looking too much for the imported ones, the frozen ones. Mm-hmm. They like to know they have the lawat and the stuff that they require. So what is required for us to know that the meat that we eat is wholesome? We need to know a farmer wants to slaughter his bull. What do you all do to ensure that that bull is ready for slaughter?
Okay, there are a series of activities that must happen to ensure that the animal, first of all, that the farmer or the butcher is slaughtering is fit for slaughter.
Right.
And then further down the line, there are other activities that will ensure that the meat are wholesome for consumption. Mm-hmm. So if someone is desirous of slaughtering for the season, whether it's for sale or personal consumption, we advise those persons to seek the guidance of the Ministry of Health, the Public Health Department, and the Veterinary and Livestock Services. So here what's happened. So you're desirous of slaughtering an animal. The first thing you should do, you should at least go to the Public Health Department and state your desire. There, they'll ask of you the basic requirements and the minimum requirements that is necessary to conduct that activity, especially if you're doing it for commercial purposes. So things like you need to have a slab, a covered area, a stall with proper sharpened tools and these kinds of
running water,
proper lighting. Other things you'll need as well is your health card. Yes, the butcher must have a health card, and every attendant
that's working with him.
Okay. So these are other prerequisites that are needed. Mm-hmm. If you have that covered, your next step is go to the police station to get a butchering license. Mm-hmm. At the police station, you'll be questioned, where do you get the animal for? Did you raise it yourself, or did you buy it from somebody? If you bought it from somebody, where are your receipts? Okay, so these are the questions that will be you have to answer. And when you have this covered, then you come to the veterinary services, or you will be directed, even at the public health department, you will be directed to the veterinary services and request an ante-mortem inspection. So this is where we come in and we actually take a look at the animal before you slaughter it. This is very important. Mm-hmm. It establishes this is to ensure that only healthy animals are presented for slaughter. And if you present a sick animal, we will remove that animal from the slaughter line and say, okay, you cannot slaughter that animal because A, B, C, D, and they will take care of whatever is affecting that animal.
What are the ABCDs?
Well, there are a lot of issues that can come up with that animal.
Would have, yes.
Yeah. So listen, we will be examining the animal for a lot of abnormalities. So you can have abnormality in gait, that's how the animal walks, mm-hmm. the posture, conformity in terms of the structure and stuff like that. We'll be looking at for the mucosa, the eye, the tongue, the mouth, the gums, to see we might check if the animal is pregnant. We also check for if there are protrusions from the orifices, from the ears, the nose, the anus, and stuff like that. We'll be also looking out for things like signs of diseases, or specific diseases or general diseases. If your animal passed that test, then we'll tag the animal animal and issue a health certificate.
Okay. All right. So a butcher decides he is from Mac and he goes to VA4 to purchase an animal. What does he require to transport that animal from VA4 to Mac for slaughter?
Yeah. So we advise farmers or butchers or any person that's trading in the animal business, if you go down south or anywhere for that matter, to move an animal, you need a permit.
Okay.
So you can get that at the livestock station, not the livestock, but the livestock office in Vieux-Fort. Okay, so you contact the people down there. They will issue you the certificate so that you can move the permit to move the animal from north to south.
So what will be on the permit really?
The age of the animal, the farmer you bought it from, the area it's from, and where it's going to.
Okay.
The species, if it's sheep, goat, cow, whatever, the male, female, color, and details of the animal.
So if for example, the Predial Larceny people stop that person, that butcher, or the police, they have to.
Yeah, they have to show that permit. If you don't show that permit, then the animal could be impounded.
It can be.
It can be.
Wow.
It can be impounded.
Okay, because one of the main reasons, and I'm sure you are aware of this, there's a lot of theft.
A lot of theft,
especially around this
time. A lot of theft, and then added to that, there is the movement of the emblematic.
Right.
Because there are certain areas of the country that are free from it. So if you move in that animal from one area to the next, the animal will have to be examined, and if it have ticks, then treated before you move it.
Okay.
So this is also very important.
Okay. So good point. So if an animal purchased in VA4 has the emblematic, and if it's treated, how long after treatment can it be slaughtered?
There is not a withdrawal period for the tick, for the ticks, right. For the product that you use.
Okay.
There's not a withdrawal period.
Okay, great. So, in other words, even if the epidermis of the animal, it has blisters or it shows signs of it, can it be spotted still?
Well, the ante-mortem inspection will determine that. Because the blisters could be caused by a number of things.
Okay.
You can have a disease situation that caused the blisters.
Okay.
It could be a chemical agent. So a lot of these things will have to be determined. The farmer or the butcher will have to be interviewed.
Okay.
What you sprayed the animal with, when last you did it, to establish the withdrawal period and stuff like that. So,
all right.
So it could be anything.
So you're saying that so the animal will be tagged.
It will be tagged
from purchase point.
No, at the point of.
Or after the ante-mortem is done.
Yeah. After the ante-mortem is done, the animal will be tagged.
Okay. Now, prior to that, what can be shown to you, the livestock officer, that animal is legal or was legally purchased? Do you all go through that too?
No, we don't really deal with the legality and the purchasing. That's for the police to do.
Okay.
What we do is we encourage farmers to put an ID on the animal. Generally.
Okay.
So your animal is ID'd. So and then if your animal is ID'd, then you have the proof, you have it written, you have the record. So if we conduct a sold animal to a butcher and we conduct the ante-mortem, there is no need for us to tag it anymore if it's have a tag.
Right.
So that becomes the ID of the animal.
Understand.
So that's why we tag the animal, just to put an ID on it, just to help whoever is doing the post-mortem inspection to correlate the carcass with the live animal.
So so you go to a butcher's area where he slaughters, but it is slaughtered before you carry out your ante-mortem inspection. What do you do?
This should not be.
Yeah, but what do you do?
We can not us, but the public health department, because they will be the one that come on the scene to inspect the meat. They can seize the meat and dispose of it at the farmer's expense, at the butcher's expense.
How often that's done?
It has been done a couple of times. It may not be for ante-mortem inspection, but for other reasons.
For other reasons. Because the thing is, what I'm getting to is that I know animals have been stolen. They are heifers, all right, and they are in young, and they are slaughtered.
Yeah. Clinically, there's nothing wrong with it, Mr. Sidney, because there are cultures and places where they slaughter pregnant animals just to get the fetus. Because certain cultures, the fetus are delicacies and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's not it's not something that will kill you if you consume it. But in our situation, because of the population of animals we have, we do not encourage these things. Because if you have to slaughter all pregnant animals or all heifers, down the line you won't have any animals to slaughter. So, and what's the point of slaughtering an animal that's pregnant when the whole thing is to produce more?
I agree, but the point is the person who is going to steal the animal.
They don't care about it. They don't care about that.
That's for this purpose.
We discourage the slaughtering of animal, whether pregnant or not, without an antemortem inspection. It is very important that you do that, especially if you're going for if you're doing it legitimately. You should check the veterinary services, get your animal antemortem, because if not, you may be producing or slaughtering an animal that is sick and hereby presenting sick or compromised meat to the public. And we want to discourage this.
And this is very critical. Like I can recall some years ago, it happened to me where I got into contact with an animal crossing the road, all right? And I hit the animal. And the owner, I was told, try to treat the animal, all right? But that animal was also getting better. So at the end of the day, after about maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they slaughtered the animal. I mean, that meat was not fit for consumption.
So there are also what we call emergency slaughter. In that case, yes. In that case, an animal is hit by a vehicle or any object for that matter, and then we decide, you get an evaluation on the animal, because once the antemortem is done, then an evaluation will be done on it, and then you will determine, that animal should be sent to emergency slaughter.
Right.
Because if you let the injury fester, then the animal can get feverish, and then that's you have to
get rid of it.
Dispose of the carcass.
After the animal is slaughtered and the meat is exposed, is cut into forequarters, how do you the butcher, what he does, he may not be able to sell that meat on the same day, but he wants it be sold the following day. What is expected of him with that meat prior to him selling it?
Okay. That meat is the animal is slaughtered. The public health department have to come in and do what we call the post-mortem inspection on the carcass.
All right.
Okay. If you're not selling that same day, you must keep that. You must put that meat to refrigerate that meat.
Right.
And once you refrigerate that meat, you must maintain that cold chain. If you move that meat, that would have to move in a cooler or with ice from the refrigerator.
Okay.
The cold chain, you have to maintain that cold chain, because once you start having fluctuations in the temperature, then this is the perfect condition for the production of bacteria, bacteria to multiply.
So I don't know what I'm saying. So it's in a refrigerator, all right, and you're supposed to sell it the next day, okay? But we do for our break. So when you come back, I'll continue with this. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. Stay tuned. Just do not go away. Pas d'accident encore. Mi de bœuf mola, on go taureau et puis yon belle vache. Des machines croisées et moun blessé. Ah non, messieurs et dames. Bagay sa la kani pou du bout. Stray animals are endangering human lives and property. Livestock owners, please ensure animals do not stray on roads, highways, and public places. Remember, sections of the Animals Act 2005 states stray animals will be seized and put in a pound by authorized persons. Owners will be liable to a fine of $5,000 or 2 years imprisonment, or both. Save innocent animals. Save human lives and property. A message from the Department of Agriculture. Welcome back to the program, Agriculture on the Move. Of course, with me, Mr. Columbus Philippi, who is a livestock officer in the Ministry of Agriculture, and we're talking about the slaughtering of animals, especially at this time of year. It's Christmas. Nuelas ja asunu encore. And I know that we're looking for this nice piece of meat for us to consume, to bake, to stew, but it must be wholesome. Felipe, we were talking about the refrigeration of the carcass, right, for sale on the following day. If you take it off from the refrigerator and you are actually chopping the meat for sale, if you do not sell all that meat, what do you do?
That's why I said it has to be maintained. So if you wouldn't want to remove the whole carcass
from the
so you cut.
Okay.
So those that's not interfering with will still be
chilled and
chilled, right?
Okay.
So if you don't sell everything, then it is still preserved.
Okay. So
instead of moving everything out,
yes.
The temperature has risen, and then you have to put it back on the fridge. The fluctuation, I said, is ideal conditions for the multiplication of bacteria.
How a consumer would know, for example, he goes to a stall and he's buying meat and he's hanging, I don't think he will know how long that meat has been.
The untrained eye may not know. But first and foremost, the person who's going to purchase meat should be very vigilant and ask questions of the butcher.
Okay.
So, has the meat received? Did that animal receive an antemortem inspection? Did that animal the meat has been received a postmortem inspection? Where are the documents? Where are the proof of that? That's why we encourage the butchers to put those documents in a place where everybody can see it. Okay. Ask the questions, and then the fresh meat will look lively. The redness will be there. The stale meat will start to darken and probably greenish. You may say some greenish area on it. So these are the things that if you are probably allowed to touch it, it will be slimy to the touch. You understand? The stale meat will start getting slimy to the touch. So these are the things that consumers should look for. You understand? So apart from just knowing if the meat is fresh or not, you should also ask the questions. So if you see the document and the document say probably was last week, because the date will be on it, then you know it's
very stale.
Exactly.
Okay.
So there you are.
Very good, very good. The preparation or the site preparation for slaughter. What is? I know you mentioned, we said we would need a covered area, we need water, but in terms of, I heard some years ago you all were looking at more than that in terms of to screen the area for flies not to get in. Is that still on? I don't know.
Well, that could be. It's still on if the person decides to upgrade the facility. That idea was about when the meat processing facility was being constructed, and it would have eliminated the slaughtering in the various communities. So we were encouraging those butchers to transform the slaughtering place into some more like a meat shop.
Okay.
So you will be bringing in instead of bringing animals, you bring in carcasses.
Yes.
So you have the perfect environment where your place is screened, and then your display cabinet, and this kind of stuff. So that's what we were more or less encouraging to happen. If somebody, it's not too late.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, because
you can still have the process there at the back, and then
you have
your front shop.
Exactly. That's what I was
presented.
But is that being encouraged? It is being
encouraged. Unfortunately, not everybody sees the need to do it, because a lot of the butchers they have the outlets at the Castries market. So maybe that's another angle we may have to look at it.
Moving forward. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you want to sell, to the consumer a wholesome, product.
Exactly. And the place where you vend in must reflect that.
Exactly.
Because if you have the antemortem inspection, you have the postmortem inspection, and then then the place where you vend the meat.
Yes.
It erases everything
else that you've done before. Yes,
exactly.
yes.
Exactly.
Definitely. Bon, an gade sa ko Philippe nou pas Noël la sou nou, OK? An chay moun vle viande pou yo sa pou Noël yo, pou yo sa bouillir, tout bay yo vle fè epi, yo vle bikli, yo vle fè tout bagay, mais yo vle sav yo ni, viande qui yo sa dit oui, viande ça la bon. So là ou ka garder des animaux, qui ça on est pour garder les en femme et ben en boucher vle tuer en animaux.
Oui, les bouchers d'accord pour tuer les animaux. Nous sommes pour garder les animaux avant de tuer. Nous sommes pour assurer que les animaux sont en bonne santé. Nous nous assurer que si c'est un vache, il pas plein. Si c'est nous regarder qui mène il conformé. Si ni bon graisse, bon viande là, si ni bon nan. Pour ça mener un bail meg. Toute côte dehors. Nous regarder zier, nous regarder boucheli, nous regarder si blême, langli, si blême. Nous regarder tout bail qu'on mène qu'à marcher.
D'accord.
Mener qu'à debout. Nous examiner tous les défaces. Nous pas faire ça en ouais. Nous faire ça en clair et la journée. Dans chaque monde les yo présenter les animaux dans le fond. Les animaux juste dans le fond. Les animaux qui tuer les temps après. On est pour mettre les animaux en potence là. Quand on tuer la borhal là, quand on tuer là pour les nous venir pour nous examiner et qui des animaux à poser. Plus animaux à poser, plus mais vient nous d'accord. Les animaux, surtout les animaux à tout, les animaux, vous sortez des animaux bavaziers, les animaux qu'on y vit puis vous tuez. Viennent ça par qualité, il pas assez bien. Il pas bon qualité. Viennent ça qui gâter plus vite par les animaux qui bien posés. D'accord. Ça c'est ça qui a prouvé.
Bon, quelle manière l'air au cas au goût vient un des à bervier fort comme on est monté pour tuer un des marques be côté comme là quelle manière ou supposé chaive bœuf ça là
premier temps pour faire nous demander monde pour faire ça c'est bonnet bon matin et bien tard après-midi pour le soleil là pas trop chaud tout ça qui mettre plus stress en les animaux aussi nous encourager pour aller en département nous vivre fort pour garder ça un transfert permit pour tirer les animaux en sous-pays pour mener en notre pays. Ça peut peut-être tout quand on a acheté des animaux. Côté c'est pour l'histoire de Boutou, avec moi, comprendre les animaux ça.
D'accord.
De ne pas venir ici pour montrer date qui c'est on les met tellement acheter et que ça saisit les animaux ça sous pas ni permis ça. Là ni l'autre raison qu'on tic faire nous pas voulons transporter tic faire monter sous pays à monter dans notre pays. So tout ça nous empêcher ça. On aller là officier qui garde des animaux et puis il y a un document et puis il servi document ça pour monter des services.
Mais si on regarde un bœuf, on pas savoir si c'est volé.
Non, pas ça. On pas savoir si volé, mais ça officier qui a fait, il a appelé patli. Ça c'est moun t'as vu pour moun qui vole les animaux et puis qui achète des animaux volés si police du Boutou et que moi de pas ça bail ici pas ça chose et puis en la lambaye qui tel monde perd des animaux que vous trouvez ces animaux là ça c'est problème ça c'est problème
alors moi même pas voulais manger en viande en animaux qui étaient pleins et bien par exemple les c'est mon aller voler les animaux
il va voler n'importe bail il va voler chinis il va voler petit bœuf il va voler toute bagaille
oui
nous pas encourager pour tuer les animaux qui pleins comme des plus bonheur là ni en qualité différents pays mon cas il va content manger et viande ça ils ont croiser bien ils ont fondre OK il va manger petit bœuf even après fête il y a des jours après fête quand il commence point lettre il va tuer après sa ville
oui
et bien il va se bœuf là sur lettre tout seul avec là il veut 6 mois il va tuer
OK
so toutes ces cultures différents bail mais nous pas quitter ça ici et puis nous pas même ni population bœuf là pour encourager ces barrières ça. Si nous pour faire ça, c'est ici pas ni pièce bœuf.
Oui. Alors bah c'est moi ça pour moi c'est tout le monde est.
Oui, à chaque monde c'est tout.
Ma pièce Junis.
Oui, là ni monde qui ça allergique parce que si les animaux en chasse, il gagne un high level of hormones.
Oui, ensemble.
Il y a des gens qui sont allergiques pour ça, ils manger, il y a des votre mener, il y a des vomir comme ça. So là, il y a juste pas manger pièces animaux qui femelles.
OK. So les animaux ont aller côté les animaux yo préparer pour ça tuer. Qu'est-ce ça zoka garder pour les animaux ça?
Nous regardons si les animaux sont malades. Nous regardons si les animaux sont bien importants. Si les animaux sont malades, nous allons tirer. Nous allons pas tuer les animaux ça, nous allons tellement de telle façon. Et que nous allons traiter les animaux à bas, nous allons adviser qui ça pour faire.
D'accord.
Parce que ça post-mortem la fait c'est pour empêcher les animaux qui sont malades de trouver quoi tuer et pour assurer que les animaux qui sont en santé c'est bien important de trouver quoi tuer pour manger.
Les viennent OK yo tuer les animaux yo coupé 24 et puis yo ni délaisse yo pas qu'à vendre viande ça la même joie. Qui ça yo au quoi yo pour faire viande ça pour vendre li demain.
On est pour assurer qu'ils viennent rester à sous réfrigérateur. So quand ils viennent dans le fridge. Mais depuis qu'ils viennent trouver quoi un fridge. Il supposé rester dans le fridge, il supposé anglais à quoi ça, vous pour maintenir cold chain. So il já resté dans le fridge, il pour rester dans le fridge constant jusqu'à temps mon a préparé pour tuer. Alors bah tout nous encourager moun là venir acheter viande. Venir et puis couler.
Oui.
Et qui ont des morceaux la glace à dingue. So quand acheter viande ça, quoi mettre un couleur. Parce que dès là Mr. Sidney quoi acheter viande. Et le pas via ou la boire des gog. Mais sur le couleur.
Avec de l'eau oublier
viande non, avec viande gâtée t'as vu viande gâtée. So on y couleur, on mettez viande sur la glace et pour là l'arrivée là c'est just me à ce fridge.
D'accord.
Mais si viande ça là, dès le 25 acheter depuis soir avant. Après-midi, on va acheter. Comme ça, on a dit. Bon, si vient ça à souffrir, il suppose ça à souffrir. Depuis sortir à souffrir, pour venir mettre entre sortir. Ça c'est condition pour vermine multiplier et faire mon malade.
Là, on débite viande au panne. Qui longtemps une boîte panne avant mettre à sous fridge?
Moi, quand je l'ai plus jeune. Ou même si vous savez ça. Dès là, vient de casser la panne pour des jours.
Oui.
Mais nous avons l'autre qualité de temps.
Oui.
Chalet.
Oui.
Si vous venez ça à gâter plus vite.
D'accord.
Vous pas de fridge côté mon mettre à ce fridge.
D'accord. Oui.
Mais nous avons à l'autre qualité de temps, mon plus savant. Et puis l'année plus vermine qui a fait mon malade à présent.
D'accord.
So nous avons encouragé mon pour de d'accord viens ça pas tuer pour pas vendre pour aujourd'hui. C'est demain qu'on fait.
Mettez à souffrir. D'accord.
Mettez à souffrir.
As you're about to end the program, any final words you would like to tell the public?
Finally, I would like to encourage the consumers firstly to be vigilant, ask the necessary questions of your butchers. We know that a lot of persons, they normally buy the meat within the community, so you would have known your butcher and probably know the animal.
The animal too, yes.
Ask the necessary questions. Whether the vet has seen the animal before slaughter, whether the animal received the meat received the post-mortem inspection. What to look out for? The stump.
Yes.
After the meat has been inspected, it will be stamped.
That's the post-mortem.
Post-mortem, yeah. So you ask for the stump. The stump should be on the meat.
Right,
it will be stamped in conspicuous places, and then the carcass. Then you will see that stamp on it. To the butchers, I'm saying, please do the necessary check. Go to the public health department, get your slaughterhouse permit, ensure that your slaughterhouse is inspected, get the necessary requirements. Go to the police, get a butcher license. It's not expensive, I think $5 for it. And then check the veterinary services, get your anti-mortem inspection done.
Thank you, sir, for all the explanation that you've given. So I want to thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
You've been watching Agriculture Move. I'd like you to ensure that you do what Mr. Philippi say. And just before I end, to my friends, I would like you all to pray for Mr. Owen Cox and Mr. Anselm Cox, who is very, very ill. They're my good friends. So I wish them well, and I hope they go through the Christmas season. I'm Philip Sidney saying goodbye and have a Merry, Merry Christmas. See you.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.